Clark County's fire chief says this past rain event this past weekend was unlike any he has ever seen here in the valley before.
That's right. Only on Fox 5, we asked the county, can Vegas handle any major storm?
Every drainage system has its limitations, and we had our basins that were starting to give us some concern. And we were never concerned about a catastrophic failure like a break, but we were concerned about overflow.
The general manager and chief engineer of Clark County Flood Control District tells us there's about 75%, they're 75% of the way through a master plan. Right now, there are 684 miles of channels and storm drains in Clark County. They say that even though they constantly improve them, no system can withstand every weather event.
We design all of our facilities for what we call the 1% chance storm or the 100-year events. But we can always get a 500-year event or a 1,000-year event, and if that were to happen, then we could see some facilities overtopping and see some flooding in neighborhoods based on that.
Clark County Flood Control says over 200 miles of storm drains still need to be built out, but they stagger these projects primarily due to funding. You see, only about 1/4 of 1% of Clark County sales tax goes to flood control.